Hi, I'm Danny Knightmare, and as you can see, I like cool stuff, and I like cool t-shirts. And that's why today's episode is brought to you by the Etsy shop t-shirts and stuff. And if you got a dark side like myself, I recommend the Dark Ones Closet on Etsy as well. Come on, who doesn't like cool shirts and cool shit? Use the code HORROR13 and save 13% off your order. Would I ever steer you wrong? Hi, I'm Danny Knightmare, and I'm a horror addict. I watch a horror movie every night, if I can, that's for sure. I certainly like to, because I got it. I got the urge. Don't have any shirt that would really represent Infinity Pool, so I'm wearing the Deadpool, you know? Why not? Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Alright, yeah, Zigma said he was watching the stream 37 minutes ago, and now I'm on the current one. Yeah, I don't think you have to leave. I think people can just stick around, and then the next stream, you'll still be there. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how it all works. I'm not the Donatello of the situation, but I'm getting a little better. She's been teaching me, you know? I'm a young Padawan of streaming. I'm trying to make this a weekly thing, and hopefully it'll build. We got the scares coming up soon, so be ready for that. It's March 12th. Mommy B Movies in the chat. Oh, Mommy. Okay, so if you watched the last stream where we talked about crimes of the future, Gory was in the chat, and she went ahead and let everybody know why she's not here. So I guess I don't feel bad if I tell you, Mummy and Zigma. The reason why Gory is not here is because her and Lols have lice. Yeah, I got a haircut today. I'm good. I'm fine. But I'm gonna stay that way instead of us cramming in here and jumping little bugs. They're already taking care of it. Don't worry about them. They'll be fine. We got all the stuff we need to kill those little bastards. But that's the reason why Gory's not joining me. We watched Infinity Pool, and then we watched Crimes of the Future last night. And you know what? We had a Cronenberg night, and that's why we're having a Cronenberg week. Here I am to tell you all about it. Okay, so the Crimes of the Future takes place in the future, and we got David Cronenberg, but his son Brandon Cronenberg. Apparently, they're like kind of filming these like near each other. And they were like able to visit each other on the set. Brandon's doesn't take place in the future. It takes place in Turkey, a place I will never go ever. I've seen Midnight Express. Oh, really? I'm never going to that country. It sounds like they have some really strict laws there. And hey, we even got my other brother Devin in the chat. There we go. How we doing? Yeah, if you like commit any crime in Turkey, almost all of them are punishable by death. It seems like. And this movie really takes advantage of that. They go, I don't know, we got the Skarsgård in this as well. Which Skarsgård? Alexander Skarsgård, right? All right, Alexander Skarsgård's there, and he's got a Cleopatra Coleman. I think that's her name. Cleopatra Coleman is like his wife. He's he's a mediocre novelist, writer. Wrote a book a long time ago. No one really talks about because meh. But Cleopatra, she's like rich. Her dad owns a publishing agency and told her never marry a writer. And just to get back at her dad, she even admits that she has daddy issues. So she married the first broke writer she ever met. I guess to hit on her or whatever. And that is Alexander Skarsgård. Alexander Skarsgård, he's not my favorite of the Skarsgårds, but he's pretty cool. And he's great in this movie. Plays James Foster, the novelist, the writer. And hey, man, welcome back. Yeah, and Ariel, I'm glad you guys all made it back. As Zigma points out, I don't think you even have to technically leave or clock out or go anything. I think it just kind of pulls you into this one. But maybe I should combine them, like where I don't leave for a while. I mean, I like to leave for a while just to get a drink, whatever I need to do. I kind of like them being two different videos because more people, I think, will click on them if they're short one video instead of a two movie combined video that's really long. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. Maybe the other way is the better way to go. Christian Orr, what's up? Back is the rising sun. Okay, anyways, so they're traveling to Turkey because that's where you go for vacation. They have a pretty nice beach in their motel, I suppose. I've seen nicer beaches in way more relaxed countries, so I don't know why they went to Turkey, but they had to because movie. They run into Mia Goth and the guy she's with, and they become kind of friends. Mia Goth becomes very friendly very friendly. She helps Alexander Skarsgård with something else when he just like excuses himself to pee in the woods, and she finds him and does a little more than just peeing. Um, yeah, so he's kind of a bastard for doing that to his wife, who pays for everything. Anyways, this is very early on. This is the just setup of the movie. The setup of the movie. I'm only spoiling the first like 10, 15 minutes of the movie. They get drunk with this couple, Mia Goth and her guy, and Mia Goth's character's name's Gabby, by the way. And they the guy is really intoxicated, like the other guy that was with Mia Goth. I don't remember the actor whose name who played him, but very, very drunk guy. And so Skarsgård's like only pretty drunk. He's like, I can drive us back to the hotel. Well, they're heading back, and it's very dark, and this giant like field with tall grass, and someone sadly tries to cross the road at the wrong time, and we get kind of like a I know what you did last summer situation. This is the very beginning of the movie. I know I have to tell you this part just so you know the plot. I don't like to spoil much, but this is the beginning. This is like within 10, 15 minutes of the movie. Other than them chatting, at the beach and whatnot. They hit a guy, and the other couple are like, you don't want to get in trouble in Turkey, trust us. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's just go back to the hotel. We never saw this guy. Okay, so I'm thinking, what is this gonna be? Like, I don't really know what I went into this movie very blind. I did not know where they were going with this. It's a very provocative little picture there with Mia Goth and Skarsgård on the poster. Infinity Pool. I was thinking like, Infinity Wars meets Deadpool. It's not like that. Not like that at all. Popping the popcorn. Welcome. How you doing? And Huggy Bear. Seriously, what? Pop in, say hi. Nice seeing you again. Thanks for doing these movie reviews and watch. Aw, well, appreciate it, Huggy Bear. You're always welcome here. Pop in. I like it when people let me know that they're popping in. I love to hear from you guys. Like, some people I know, they just watch. They don't say anything, and that's fine too. But, I really like it when someone says, hey, what up? It makes it a little easier for me to do this. Anyway, so yeah, they hit a guy. They decide not to, they weren't there. They go back to the hotel like nothing happened. And just hope that this person does not remember what they did next summer or whatever the fuck it is. Turns out, the next morning, though, cops show up. The other couple, Mia Goth and her guy, they completely ratted out Skarsgård and Cleopatra. Completely ratted them out. They're like, yeah, this is what happened. Cleopatra's character's name's M. I can't really say that her and Skarsgård have any chemistry, but I think that's the point of the movie. I mean, it's kind of why he leans towards this provocative Mia Goth, who's very, very straightforward with what her intentions are with him. And I kind of see it because him and his Cleopatra, they don't have a very loving relationship. I'm not excusing it. No, it's messed up behavior by any means. And Cleopatra's character, I feel bad for her in a sense because she doesn't want any of this. But, it's, the movie kind of implies, yeah, they're not in a good place. So, yeah, it's Turkey. And I don't know, like, all the laws and myths that I've heard about Turkey, but I've seen enough movies and heard enough things. And I remember reading some stuff in, like, high school way back in the early 2000s. Yeah, there's a lot of punishable by death crimes in Turkey. They will either put you in life in prison, like in Midnight Express, for having weed on you and trying to smuggle it out of the country or whatever. Or, from what I hear, they, do not tolerate drunk driving in any sort of way. If you kill somebody or even have a DUI, they punish you severely. I don't know, like, from what I've heard is myth and what is real. I've never been to Turkey, and I'm never going to go find out. But they basically tell Skarsgård right away, yeah, you're guilty. You killed this guy, by being drunk and running him over. So we're gonna have to execute you. Now, there's like this thing because he's rich, and I'm not gonna really go into that until the spoilers. Because this movie's hard. I have to actually have spoilers this time. I thankfully didn't need them for Crimes of the Future, but this movie, you kind of can't talk about some spoilers. I won't tell you exactly how the movie ends by any means. Never gonna get that far. But before I even reveal much further, I'll have to put a spoiler warning on there because that's just how it is. They give him a kind of a clause. It's kind of somewhat of an out. If he, since his wife's rich, anyways, And yeah, there's possibly an out of this. There's a huge butt, like a huge, and there's a catch, of course. But yeah, and it's is it worth it? I don't know. I mean, I guess I would take it too because who the hell wants to be executed? But damn, it's still there's a lot more to it than you paid money, you can walk free. But the gist is she opens up her bank account to spare her husband from being executed for manslaughter behind the wheel drunk. And it gets really crazy from there on. I thought maybe we were going straight up to Midnight Express, where the whole movie is gonna take place in a prison or whatnot. Not exactly where they go. Cronenberg goes a completely different direction than where I had no idea where this movie was going, and that's what I loved about it. So I do have to throw up spoilers from here at this point on, but before I do, I definitely give this a see it, even more so than Crimes Against the Future. This is definitely a see it. This is maybe even an own it for me. I don't know. We might need to buy this one, but then again, maybe not. It is high art. Brandon Cronenberg. All right, so what did Brandon Cronenberg? He's only really directed two other movies that I know of. He did Antiviral way back in 2012. That was a good movie. It's very artsy, very good, very mind messing, and like I said, he doesn't do quite the body horror that his dad does, but he does some of it. He definitely throws it in there. He does a lot of this mind trippy shit too. And then he did Possessor 2020, and I know that won lots of Oscars. It was nominated for a bunch, anyways. Um, Possessor was fucking rad. It's about assassins who can take over people's bodies to kill people, and it was very sci-fi, very, very Cronenberg. Brandon is a lot like his dad, but a little different. He's like his own. They're very similar, but they have their own unique flavor. But if you're a fan of David Cronenberg, then you'll probably like Brandon Cronenberg movies. That's like I said, they're kind of like the Joe Hill, King, Stephen King, Joe Hill kind of relationship, where they are a little different, but they're also very similar. And so yeah, I would say Infinity Pool's rad. You should check it out. I'm just gonna tell you that. You should go into it blind if you haven't seen it. Other than what I've told you, it's gonna go weird from here, very weird. So there's your warning. I'm giving the warnings up. The spoilers, there will be, because I can't quite talk about any of this movie without some spoilers at this point. I can just tell you that you should definitely check it out before I throw it in there. All right, so spoilers, there will be. Woo! I just want to make sure there's time for people to log off here. Mummy, I don't think this movie would scare you. It's not necessarily a scary movie. It's a trippy movie, and like questions, a lot of questions are going on. I would say Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future kind of really went with what is considered a crime in the future when man can't evolve anymore, and consumerism. A lot of like how we consume everything. We have all this plastic that do we really need it? I mean, I love it. I'm not complaining, but that's what kind of Crimes of the Future is, with a whole bunch of consumerism and big corporations and other like governments like trying to keep us the way we are, where they don't want us to evolve because there's profit to be made off of us. That's kind of like the metaphor and themes in Crimes of the Future. This one, entitlement. I think the theme, the metaphor of so much these entitled characters really face no consequences like for their actions. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty much what here. Rich entitlement. All right, I'm okay. The spoiler alert has been on for a while now, so let's take it from there. Okay, what they do is they strip down poor James, Alexander Skarsgård's character, naked, and they put everything in his mouth, like for his teeth, and they have him step into this weird tomato soupy ass shit that's like sticky and plasticky and stuff. And then they drag him out. He wakes up and they tie him up to a post. And the son of the guy that he ran down, his son appears there, and he's going to be executed being stabbed to death in the gut by the son. All right. You're like, well, shit, I thought he like paid to get an out. Before you see what exactly happens, you realize James, Alexander Skarsgård, is sitting in the audience with Cleopatra Coleman. And wait a minute. They watch as James's duplicate is stabbed and murdered by the kid. And that is basically what's happening. They paid a lot of money to make a clone who will be punished for the crime. A whipping boy, if you will. Like back in the day, the rich kids had whipping boys. Like anytime the kid committed a crime, the whipping boy. I remember seeing that movie in school, The Whipping Boy. Where, oh, you did bad? Well, you're rich. We can't punish you, but we'll whip this little boy and you'll watch him get punished. It's kind of like that, but it's a clone of you, and it's really messed up. Really, really messed up. Yeah, Sandy, well, that's the clause. It's a clone. However, afterwards, like, right at the very end of it, too, James, he's like mortified to witness at first, but by the time it's over, there's an evil grin on his face. Like, he almost enjoys seeing, and the one being stabbed is like crying in pain, obviously. It takes forever to be stabbed to death in the stomach. Like, he gets stabbed like 30 times before he's finally dead. Cheers to Fears. What up, homies? Glad you guys could join us. Yeah, you're gonna have to go back and watch the beginning because we released a video on. Oh, did you guys? I'm gonna have to go check out your guys' view. Infinity Pool. So you've seen the movie then, obviously, if you released your own video. Check out Cheers to Fears, guys. They're really cool. Grab a beer and watch some of their content. Make sure you subscribe to them because they're pretty badass. All right. So yeah, you guys don't worry about spoilers. You've already seen it. There's like some argument, like James wonders when he gets back to the motel, who did they really kill? Like, my personal theory is they killed who made the crime. I feel like James is now the duplicate. Because that's just how I feel. I feel like the one that was killed, he's covered in the plastic and weird mold, and so I'm assuming like the one they killed is the real one. The movie never straight up tells you. I'm gonna tell you that much. This is spoiler talk. You have to be guessing for yourself at this point. But I feel there's evidence that supports that James, the real James, is dead. Clone James, duplicate James, is the one who's being sent home with Cleopatra M. James then like fakes losing his passport because for whatever reason he meets Mia Goth, Gabby, back in the lobby again, and she's like, "Oh, so sorry about that, but you know how it is." And she reveals to him. She takes him to a different room in the hotel where there's a bunch of people who have had this thing happen, and they even like philosophize, like, "Well, are we the real ones? Are we the clones?" And then they all kind of just don't care, and they think it's hilarious. And they're these rich assholes who commit whatever crimes they want in Turkey because they can pay to get out of it. They basically talk James, they pump him up and talk him into staying longer, and they take him to the guy who sentenced him to death, like the person who did this. They take him to his house and they just run a rampage. It becomes very Clockwork Orange in this sense, like they just break into homes and do whatever they want because who cares? They're rich. Once again, they are arrested for their crimes, and the detective tells them, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna make a statement this time. You guys aren't gonna buy your way out of this one." And he takes them in there and he kills them horribly. They try to fight for it, but they're all killed. However, you cut to the audience again at this crime, and it's the other ones of them laughing and pointing at themselves dying, savoring it. They don't give a shit, man. They are thinking, "Ha! Who cares? Keep killing my Lemmings clones. I don't give a shit." But it's really weird because, like, you think about it, and someone's dying. And I like I said, my theory is the real ones that commit the crimes do actually die. because it feels like almost at this point copies of copies were and like these rich people that Mia's with. Like, how many times have they done this? You don't even know. This is like Skarsgård. James is like second time, but these other people have been doing it for a while, and it seems like almost every time they lose more humanity in themselves. Like they just savor. They become addicted to this behavior, and they're just spoiled, rich assholes who can get away with whatever they want. And they just Cleopatra's like, yeah, I was charged again. Great. I'm out. I don't give a shit about your passport. Whatever. I am done. And at this point, it's like, well, there goes your meal ticket, James. Like, she was the one paying to keep you alive. I hope your friends, like, if they're gonna keep, and they're bad influences on Mia Goth is such a bad influence. Like, she crazy. But, you know, in a Mia Goth way, so you're compelled to keep watching. They tell James, hey, you know what? We got other things in store for you. And they really, like, take him down a rabbit hole of some twisted shit. And I'm not going to go too much on the spoiler part, because I do think if you should watch it if you haven't seen it at this point. If you have, you know what kind of shit they take him down. But if I was James, I would not trust these entitled assholes who really just think everything's a fun fucking game that they can buy their way out of. I wouldn't trust them if I was them. That's all I'm gonna say. Exactly. Becomes an infinity pool where they can do whatever they want and really suffer no consequences. I do think actually they are suffering. I do think the people who actually commit the crimes are the ones they're actually executing. That is just my analysis on what I've seen. I feel like that they're losing their humanity in a sense. They get nastier and gross, and even David's like he's hanging on to a thread at some point in this movie where he is bad, like way worse than he started. But is he as bad as them? Maybe not, because he hasn't done it as many times. And I feel like when you make a copy of a copy and a copy, you know, like it's kind of like Multiplicity, but just really dark. Have you ever seen that Michael Keaton movie? It's like that meets, you know, Clockwork Orange, plus a few other things. Like it's a dark movie, and I loved it. I really thought it was great. I'm gonna have to probably nominate this for some shit. And as I said to Rich earlier, Mia Goth, she wants all the Oscars apparently, because she's already straight out of the gate. She was straight out of the gate last year with X, and you know we also got Pearl straight out of the gate with Infinity Pool. And I won't be surprised if there's another horror movie by the end of the year that she's in. So you just sent me some twisted shit on Messenger. Wow. Skarsgård 2 for this movie. Yeah, Skarsgård, he's fucking great. Great. He's great. He's not even my favorite Skarsgård. I prefer Bill, but Alexander, he nailed it from this performance. So he moved up the peg. I don't even remember how many Skarsgårds. This is the dad Skarsgård too. He's really good. They're all fucking good. Huggy Bear, you like the remake in good horror? Do you like all the remakes in good horror movies? No, I don't like all the remakes, Huggy Bear. Most remakes I feel are unnecessary. Um, not I'm looking. I liked the Evil Dead remake, and I'm looking really forward to Evil Dead Rise. That's for sure. Because I don't. I want them to be similar enough, but also do their own thing. You got to do a fine line. If you do a completely different thing, then why was the point of even calling it, like, you know, whatever, the remake of it? But then if you do the exact same thing, like Psycho remake, then shot for shot with worse performances? No, I didn't need that. Why? Because there's color in it? Who gives a shit? I'd rather watch the original Psycho. I like Vince Vaughn, but not as Norman Bates. He makes a better Jason, and there's the butcher of in Freaky. So there you go. Zigma feels that this movie would be improved with a pug. Well, Zigma, yeah, maybe it would be. Any movie would probably be better with a pug, right? Just throw a pug in the background. That's the reason why The Room is such a good movie. Because, hello, doggy. Yep, pug. Makes the movie so much better. Cheers, fears, I agree, Gory, but fortunately they won't get one, though I hope I'm wrong. What was she talking about? Okay. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna get Oscars, because fuck the Oscars. Oscars overlook good performances all the time just because it's too sci-fi or too horror or too whatever. But Oscars, huh? We make sure that the people get nominated that deserve to be nominated. Even if they don't win, they at least were recognized for their great performances. That's the whole point of the Oscars, to focus on horror. All right, well, I've told you what I think of both of these movies. I recommend them both. Strongly recommend Infinity Pool. Like, I think if you like horror, this movie, you should see it. I think if you like sci-fi Cronenberg horror, you should definitely see Crimes of the Future. But Infinity Pool, I think, I don't know, even if you're not a Cronenberg fan in a sense, you should still check this out because there's a lot more mentally going on there too. It's also like altered states. It's very psychedelic. Anyways, I liked it. Let me know down in the comments if you're not watching this live how you felt about it. Thank you everybody for joining me. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Brandon from Bensound was talking earlier. I do need to get like that whole membership thing going on. Hopefully I can get that done soon. Thanks, Mummy. Thanks, Zigma. Thanks, Gory, my wife. Thanks, Brandon. You guys watch Good Real Hunting Horror Oscars show recently? No, I didn't, but I'll have to look into that. All right, Starsky and Hutch and Huggy Bear. What? All right, you guys are having fun. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, but we are out. Cut.